Welcome to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. Yes, hello and welcome back to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. Fulham won, Liverpool won. This is, of course, the post-match reaction show. Please, if you are watching this video, guys, do remember to get your comments in here. Flood the comments, in fact, with what you thought of tonight's performance. And please do let us know what you think. So subscribe as well.
My sound's gone.
All right, we'll go to Darren first then. Obviously, I've got Doyle and Darren with me. Listen, talk to me about that. So disappointing, really. One win all season away from home. That was against Chelsea in the first game. Mane, no goal in 6. Matip gets injured. Hendo plays at centre-back. Jota's out for 2 months. Alisson really did keep us in it, but it was a great goal from them, to be fair. And then I just thought it was too slow, no movement. Trent was obviously subbed off. Salah went off as well. It just makes Spurs absolutely huge on Wednesday night. Doyle, I'll come to you first. I mean, everything I've said, try and pick the positives out of that one, mate. You can't.
You know what I mean, lads? What am I supposed to say about that game, lads?
Shite. Absolute shite.
We just got a lucky point against Fulham, bottom of the league. Fulham, lad. Crap, Fulham, lad. Fulham, that go down every season, lad. Fulham, that haven't beat us in 9 years, lad. That Fulham. The Fulham with that way, white and black, lad.
Yeah, I know it. You don't have to. Yeah.
I can't actually believe what I've just watched, lad. We just literally just went, can't be asked. Like, we just had the chance to take the lead, take a few points, lad, while we are in the worst situation ever with defenders, and we had a chance to take some points.
But we had a chance to go top of the table. It's an absolute joke. Brian D here says, God, that was shite. And it was shite. Embarrassing performance from the entire team. Curtis only showed up in the second half. Trent deserved to be taken off. Minamino is continuously ignored because players don't trust him. This is a great point. I saw so many times when Minamino was there for the ball. No one wanted to give him the ball. I think we'll have the chat as well about 3 players today I want to talk about, and that's Keita, Matip, and Minamino. I want to have serious words about them later on in the show. But Darren, we'll bring you in now. David here says we were loose, runny, shite, except for Curtis. I mean, that's pretty much the only thing that we can take from a positive for this. Curtis, again, man of the match. Should have scored, really, with that Gerrard-esque slalom run. Talk to me about your thoughts, man. This is very frustrating.
Usually disappointing, Alex. Doyle, like, I mean, it was real bittersweet before the game had started. Obviously, with all our rivals dropping points the weekend, Chelsea being beaten, Spurs winning today, and then only taking a point. And then before the game, we get the news that Jota and Keita are out. I mean, the real big news, it wasn't Keita was out, was Jota is out for 6 to 8 weeks, which you can look at that as taken. It's going to be 8 weeks again when he gets back, and back as a rooms. I mean, he's not going to be available now till at least mid-February, so it's usually disappointing. And then obviously the start of the game, the first half hour particularly, was really, really poor, lackluster. Just simple things went wrong. We couldn't string passes together. We were poor off the ball. We were poor when it went to winning the ball back. We gave them loads of chances. They could have had a penalty. They had a couple of good shots that only for Alisson kept out. We were 0-0 until they scored. It was after 35 minutes onwards, then we started playing football. We had a bit of fluidity in our play. We were fighting a bit more. We were looking to get them throw-ins a bit quicker, take corners quicker. We were looking to be more creative and help each other. And just all-round intensity and energy was a bit higher as the game went on then. But usually disappointing to drop 2 points today. Before Salah scored, we would have been there till Christmas and we wouldn't have scored. It just didn't look like it was going to be a day at all. Trent comes off. He's a little bit annoyed. Then he makes up with Klopp. Comes on and we thought done okay. And going back to the point about Minamino, that one of the comments come in there, I noticed that myself in the play. He's not really that trusted that players weren't giving it to him. But Emily, come on. He looked lively. He was really G'd up. And when he had the ball, he didn't put a foot wrong. So it's just one of those games that 11 points dropped now this season. But I suppose there's positives, and there's always at the end of a storm's a golden sky. And I suppose for us today is we win Wednesday, which I'll expect us to, and I'm sure you two will as well. We go back on top, and it's not goal difference, it's by point. So that's the good thing, our lads. And we're going in now to a real busy period now over the Christmas where we've 3 games now come Saturday midday. 2 games, and then we have a week off. We play West Brom. We've a couple of games then over Christmas and New Year before the FA Cup. So if we get through them, with the injuries we have, with how things are going at the moment, then I'll be fairly for the rest of the season as it goes on. But obviously, like everyone today, I am disappointed, and but I'm looking at the bigger picture and I'm staying positive because Wednesday's a couple of days away. And I'm expecting us to turn up, lads, at Anfield like we always do, under the floodlights at the Fortress. Champion response. Let's do it.
Right, a couple of things to talk about then on the back of that. Ant makes a great point here, showed how silly playing Jota was. Now, Klopp has to hold his hands up and take some responsibility for these injuries, in my opinion. Today we saw Jota out because he got injured in an absolutely meaningless game against Midtjylland. Salah played 90 minutes in that one. Trent played in that one. And none of them really were seen tonight. Obviously, Jota's out now for 2 months that we've heard today. And the other two, apart from Salah's penalty, he did nothing. Trent was dragged off and had a bit of an argy with Klopp on the touchline. Doyle. I mean, what do you think about? I mean, the injuries again, Doyle. I mean, Klopp has to take responsibility for misusing the players last midweek, I think.
Lads, yes, he does. But also, you can't blame him. Like, he can't play anybody without them getting injured. It's like not his fault. None of this is his fault. He must not believe how much bad luck he's getting this season from so many different angles. Like, it's making me laugh because it's just unbelievable. And Matip went off today at half time, and we literally took Trent off as well for Nico Williams, and we had a little pairing of Hendo and Nico Williams as the player. Like, I can't believe what I'm watching.
Right, let's get through some comments. There's a lot coming in. I'll come back to Doyle and Daz very shortly. Like I said, I made a comment myself just here saying we'll definitely have big chats about 3 players that potentially need to be sold. Matip, Keita and Minamino. We will get into that, but I want to get into some more comments because there's a lot of good ones coming in. If you want us to definitely read out one of your comments, as I'm only going to read out a selection now, then obviously do drop a little super chat to support the channel. It would be very, very welcome and appreciated. Made of glass Matip, sell him, that says David. Get a centre forward in January, says Master Channing. My sell list. No, I'm not in Amsterdam. Wish I was there in coffee shop smoking a bone. Few Wizzy. Get rid of Origi, Matip, Shaq, Minamino, Keita by the summer, pre-season, buy Class Edwards. Fulham defo deserved the point. They battered us. We didn't deserve any points today. We made Fulham look like we're top. We made Fulham look like they were top. Can we speak about the Jota injury? Absolutely. Well, we just did, really, didn't we? I wish we could have a shot from outside the box and maybe have a chance. City go there and score 3 or 4 at least. I mean, all these comments really are great points. And, we can't touch on every single one of them. But I have to say, tonight, I agree with everything everyone is saying, to be honest. Even Diego, who obviously is a big Palace fan, he says, evening all. Hello, Diego. Did us a favour today by obviously taking points off of Spurs. That was a great weekend for Liverpool. It was our big chance to go to the top. When you play Tottenham on Wednesday at Anfield, Spurs are very suspect at set pieces. I wanted to bring in some comments that I've seen on Twitter just in immediate reaction. Matt from Kopish says, when Henderson is having to play at centre-back, it just sums up 2020. Grizz Khan, very lucky to get away with the point there. Fulham deserved all 3 without doubt. A very lucky handball got us back in the game. Huge game now in midweek against Spurs, where we will likely be without Matip now too. The mad season continues. Chris Brack, unacceptable performance. We've got 2 more of these after. And a woeful, unacceptable result and woeful performance. You cannot be dropping these silly points to the likes of Fulham and Brighton. Chance to go clear at the top of the league on a plate for you. Flex, the Man United fan, made me go viral almost yesterday when I tweeted about how Harry Maguire is the worst centre-back I've ever seen play for United. Brilliant from Fulham. That a reminder that if you needed it, that there's no easy games in the Prem. And the last one we'll touch on. Steve Hall backing up the point that I just made. So glad we gave Trent and Salah 100 minutes in a meaningless game on Wednesday, so we had to suck them off when chasing a win in a league game. Doyle, your reaction to everything I've just said, if you can.
Again, from him playing the players, they didn't need to play, no, but they are the type of players that will want to play these games. Mo Salah wants to play every game that he can play. Without shadow of a doubt, that's what type of, you can tell that's what type of fella he is. Wants to score loads of goals. Klopp has no choice but to rotate these players. He's bringing, like I said, putting Henderson at centre back. I'm not really blaming anybody for this. This is not like anyone's. This is just madness, bro. What we're watching is madness. Today was not a good performance because I feel like, again, we're underestimating this. They've just played against fans for the first time. That's the first time they've been against opposition fans. That'll do something to their mentality. Believe me, it will. Especially all the kids that are playing for us as well, lad. Curtis Jones put a good shift in the second half. But the first half, Fulham looked up for it because they had like a 12th man behind them, lad, that was just pushing them to do it. And what didn't come through today, which usually does for Liverpool, was the quality. I always say the quality always comes through, and it never did today. We had 2 clear chances with Mane and Hendo. That's when the quality is supposed to shine through. You only get a few chances, but you take them because they're good players, but they never. And that's why we never won today, lad. And that's why we never got. We're lucky, lads. We are lucky to get a point against Fulham. I can't believe I've just said that. Lucky.
Darren, we'll bring you back in. We'll go back through some of these tweets and get your reaction on them. Some great points made, especially this one. Backs up what Doyle. Well, it goes against what Doyle had said. What Doyle was saying, it should have been an easy game today, but there is no easy games in the Premier League. And at times, it looked like Fulham were Liverpool and Liverpool were Fulham in the first half, especially awful in the first half. Shocking.
Yeah, totally agree, Doyle. And as well as that, apart from the opposition fans the players have been against, I wonder how many of the players went in and there was a change in mentality knowing that Jota is out, Keita is out again. Like, how many injuries have we had this season? Sure, 20. It must be 19 or 20. 20. And it's only months to the season. Well, we're only on to the 3rd month. 3 months in. That's unbelievable. It's surely a club record, lad. You know what I mean? At the start of the season. I know Liverpool normally have great records, but that's one of the worst ones that we've had. So that has to have some impact as well. Look, we've seen last season, lads, the away game, Sheffield United, Aston Villa last season, Crystal Palace. It was Brighton away last year. All these games, lads, that West Ham away, lad, all these games that we go into, and they are really tough games, but the resilience and that hunger and just having the more availability of first team players last season got us through it, where this season we don't have as many options, and we're obviously not as good as we were last season. There's a load of different reasons why, but no team in the Premier League, like the City, is as good as they were last season. The 2 main ones that finished top last season, Liverpool and City. So I suppose for those lads, as I did just mention, look, it is a bad day. It definitely one to forget about. Shambolic Sunday rather than Super Sunday, but we went to Wednesday night. We can go top. We Palace away. Then we know we can go there to win as well. We've actually a good record in the last couple of seasons going there, so it's not all doom and gloom. I'm more pissed off, not just at the performance and the result, but of all these injuries we're getting. It's just all going against us at the moment. And it's long term it's terrible, because I think, look, we always respond well to poor performances, and I don't think today was a really terrible performance. I think for the first half an hour particularly it was poor and we weren't at it, but after that, like, there was players that stepped it up. I thought Wijnaldum, Henderson were really good today at the best of times, and Curtis Jones was brilliant, and he was very unlucky not to score that Gerrard-esque goal. It was like when he made his debut, he come on against Sheffield and had that run. You know,
similar,
so
exactly like that.
It's not all doom and gloom, lads. You know, I'm not going to look at it as we're still on top up there with Spurs. Like, I mean, if Spurs are going to be our challengers, you'd also look at them today and say they should have really capitalised and they should have had the game 1-0 up today. So it's I'm not going to be too negative about it, but obviously disappointed, no doubt about it. And I think I'm just more disappointed now at the injuries, lads. Like, Jota is serious player, goal scorer, comes on, gets goals. He's just been unbelievable. So to have him out and missing those goals, missing those important goals, because we always said there was a big step off between the front three and Origi. Now that we bring in Jota, he's gone. So it's
honestly,
definitely bad.
like when normally I'm smiling for happiness, but if I do have some tears in my eyes, I can't lie. It's just if you don't laugh, you'll cry, kind of thing. Like
the thing, we can't blame anyone for this. You know what I mean? We just got to keep rolling. And actually, we're still top of the league, so we're still fighting.
Yeah.
The way I'm looking at this all the time is we shouldn't be where we are right now, but we are. We're still ahead of a City team, a Chelsea team that have spent.
Southampton are even third now. Unbelievable.
Well,
Get on this though. This is obviously the worst news of the whole night. Brinzy. To make things worse, I even dropped my dinner on the floor at half time.
Oh, that's fucking epic, that lad. What was it?
That is
what was your
let us know, Brinzy.
Was it something that stains?
And what colour's the carpet or the floor that you dropped it on?
I hope it wasn't carpet, especially not blue carpet.
Well, if it was
your bed,
it could be your bed. If it was like cream, kind of fluffy carpet, and he's dropped a curry on there, or roast even, to be fair,
gravy,
with it being a Sunday. The gravy, you've got the peas that will get in the fur, you've got the chicken with the hair on it when you try and eat it again. Obviously, it's only 5 seconds rule as well, so you've got to be quick.
I think he's bigger problems than dropping 2 points today, if that's the case.
Should we just talk about that now? I don't even want to talk about football, to be honest. It's an absolute...
Well, I suppose, lads, are we optimistic for Wednesday night? I think...
listen, I don't know. Oh, here we go. Brinzy says the rug in the kitchen was white. What? Yeah, but let us know what you dropped.
Why have you got a white rug in your kitchen, bro?
Oh, it was beef curry.
To have a rug
beef curry.
You can't have a white rug in your kitchen, lads.
That's disposed of now. It has to be. Well, it's only a rug, I suppose. It's not carpet, so it's not all coming up.
So, Brinzy, let us know. Maybe even send a picture. Tweet us at the Kop TV one, and then we'll get your picture up on screen, because I would like to talk about that quite a lot before we get back into the really depressing subjects of selling a lot of the players. Let's talk about Klopp's performance tonight. He was on the touchline telling the boys to wake up, as we all saw at half-time. Didn't really make the right changes today, I can't lie to you. Massive surprise. I mean, I went to the toilet at half-time, come back on and see Hendo playing at centre-back. I didn't even know what had happened. So
yeah, Matip's injured, lad. He's massive injured.
What's happened to Matip then? What more do we know? And lads, we'll speak to Doyle first, then Darren. But Klopp, did he get... Let's give Klopp a player rating tonight out of 10, or manager rating.
What is he supposed to do, lads? What are we supposed to rate? You know what I mean? Like, he's doing what he can, lad, and he's probably flipping out and losing a screw, lad. Because you would when you've got 7,000 million injuries to your players, lad.
Sure. But you still have a huge influence on the players that you start, the players that you can bring on.
And he did, lads, because the second half was 20 times better than the first half, bro. He did do something. It might have been we've got to realise we have no players. So if we see mad players playing in these weird positions, the players coming on, lads, it's because we've got no one there. There's no one to come on, lads. Everyone's injured.
Yeah,
lads,
I agree. I agree, though. Like we seen at half time, Klopp really got into them. They were much better second half. But what is Klopp supposed to really do? I mean, he obviously has a lot of problems going on there with players out. But I mean, you seen him at the sideline telling the players to wake up. Okay, you can say the substitutions weren't great, but we hadn't got many options on the bench. I mean, you probably look, and Minamino was probably the only one that looked like he could do something. Origi hasn't been the sub he was last season when he come on and made a difference, or the season before where he come on big stage and scored goals. So we junked Jay Kane on the bench. There wasn't many options, lad. So Shaqiri's still out. Keita is out. Thiago is out. They're obviously they can be game changers. Then obviously Matip goes off injured. As far as what I'm hearing is a back injury, and it's not looking too long term. But what's too long term is it's just going to be a game or two. But he's so unreliable, lads. And the same with Naby Keita. I mean, Naby Keita.
That's pissing me off now, Keita, man. Get rid.
But it's too much. It's look. We've had the same issues with Oxlade-Chamberlain. Now he's back today. He didn't come on, so. Yeah, I don't know, lads. It's as I keep saying on this show, there's a lot to be said for players being available and wanting to play. We're not seeing a lot of that this season. Players were really struggling now with injuries, and I don't know what to put it down to. Whether it was just short pre-season, a huge intense to the end of last season. And I don't really know, lads. It's hard to put the finger on it because it's all muscle injuries as well.
Talking about Klopp just then, the key things that I was talking about was maybe not bringing the Ox on instead of Minamino and taking Salah off when he just scored a goal. He's always going to be our most potent goal threat, no matter how he's playing or what time of the game it is. To take off Salah and not bring on the Ox when I think we needed someone like him, someone who can be a bit more direct. You saw Curtis trying it. I would have loved to have seen Ox today, Dorian. I would love to see Salah stayed on longer.
Well,
because Origi did absolutely nothing, bro.
You just said it yourself, though, lad. Curtis Jones is the exact same player as the Ox lad. They're the same type of player, lad. They'd like to run the defence. They'd like to have a shot outside the box.
But why did no one pass it to Minamino? He's standing there like this.
Because no one trusts him, lad. And it was mostly Salah. It's not his fault that no one's passing to him, lad. It was mostly Salah, bro. Salah could have played him in a few times and he was just like, nah. He just didn't use him. He just doesn't trust him. It's one of them.
If he was there, he would have passed it to him.
Maybe he would have, but Klopp can't control that. He can't. That's not fair on Minamino. It's not fair on Klopp either.
That's my point. He can control. Just don't bring Minamino on. Bring Ox on, and we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Plus, and another reason for him to bring Salah off is, lad, yes, we are chasing a game, but also they are defending a game for their life now. So maybe he's thinking they're just going to kick the shit out of everybody. So instead of getting them kicked loads, I'm just going to bring him on and put Origi on who I don't care who gets kicked loads. Does that make sense? Someone that can just get the body in there for me. So I think there is reasoning to why you make these substitutes. It's just difficult because we're not getting the ones that we want because we've got no players.
Well, I think he has a point to prove at Minamino as well, doesn't he? It's just nearly coming up to a year now since we signed him, and he hasn't lived up to what we thought he would have. He came in at a very low fee. We've seen what he done at Salzburg. He was unbelievable there. He's like a god in Japan, if any of you's ever been there. I know anyone that's went. And I mean, since he's come in, the end of last season when the Project Restart happened, I thought Minamino was very good. Those games at Newcastle, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know there was a couple of games he did have an influence on. He looked really good. He was sharp and he was actually strong. But this season, he's been a shadow of that. He hasn't. And there was times in the season when he was doing okay. But then he wasn't getting game time. He's not getting a consistent run. And when you're not getting game time, you're not getting a consistent run. You're going through two or three games without even getting a run out. It can be very difficult. So I think with Klopp, lads, it's more of it might be something more of a personal thing that he wants him to succeed. He's brought him in. There's expectations now for the likes of Taki and these players to deliver that he's brought in. So it's something to do with that. And then not only that, Oxlade-Chamberlain's only back from injury. Is he going to throw him into that game? I do agree, Alex. I probably would have brought him on.
But you're not going to start him against Tottenham, are you, the Ox? So you might as well bring him on now.
Yeah, but then I suppose who do you take? Who do you take off?
We've just got to set up games differently, lads. We've just got to set up for games differently. And the way we've got to win games now is the first goal in every Liverpool game is important. Because once we get that first goal, lad, we get a bit more comfortable in how we play. But what teams are doing now, because our defence is very shaky, they're just going at us in the first 20 minutes at like hell metal, lad. Just going at us loads so that they can try and weaken us and get that first goal. And then when they get that first goal, they sit on it. That's what a team has to do against Liverpool. And when they sit on it, it's very difficult for any team to break it down unless City are the only team that I see that can really break teams down when it's like that. And that's why you say they still get 3 or 4. But, you know, we just didn't play well today, lads. It was just poor.
I'm going to bring in the Kop kids.
My argument...
Sorry, Darren's
I agree with you, Doyle, but...
Hello, Kop kids. How are we? Welford and Theo Woods. Darren, just finish your point there, and then we'll move on and bring in the youngsters who are very upset with today's.
Just saying there, I agree with Doyle there, Alex. I agree with Doyle, Alex. The City the only team to break down teams, but I've said this numerous times, lads, and it's just like a broken record at this stage. I mean, City are very good when they're winning, when they're on top, but when it's backs against the walls, the players go missing. The personnel isn't there, and I'd question whether City have the stomach for this season. And why I say that is, particularly in the last year, they're not a team like they were 2 years ago. I watched them yesterday in the Manchester derby. They were so predictable. A lot of it was backwards, was sidewards. There was not real any creativity or flair, and that was a game where they had to go and win. Look, a couple of weeks ago, Van Dijk is out, Joe Gomez is out. People have his fair share of injuries, and Thiago would we have taken being joint top of the table going into a busy Christmas period? Absolutely, we would have. But I think we're more disappointed today that we went and played poor and got a poor result at Fulham. But we would have. So there is a bigger picture to it. It's a reality check, and the good thing about Liverpool is we always respond. It'd be a champion's response. We'll bounce back, and no doubt about it. I was on this when we lost 7-2 to Villa. We were all down and out, and look where we've come since then. So, let's hope the storms are going, Sky lads.
Yeah, good points there made from Darren. Welford, will come to you first. Yeah. Talk to me about some of the individual performances tonight. I mean, we've all said Curtis Jones was probably man of the match. Who else shone in good and bad for you?
I think for me, Henderson was good from the first minute. He was very controlling, as we always say after every game. I think even in the first half, when we were bad, Henderson wasn't that bad in my opinion. And then second half, Henderson came out after he played at the back and was very good yet again. Always gets us on the front. I thought he was very good today. Couple of wasteful balls late on, but you can't expect much from him. But I think he did very well at the back, because I can imagine Klopp going in quite short notice saying, do you mind putting a shift in the back? And Henderson did that very well today. I think Wijnaldum again, second half, he proper showed up, one of the senior players when we needed him most. He did step up with it, but today was just a bit iffy and just shocking performance all round for me.
Yeah, Theo, let's ask you the same question, mate. We'll just get the camera on you now.
Yeah, for me, I think Alisson was probably my man of the match for Liverpool, because I think in the first half we could have gone, 2 or 3 down without him. He made some good saves, and yeah, other than like Jones and as well said Henderson, I don't think there really was anyone who stood out to be good for Liverpool today. It wasn't a great performance.
Not a great performance at all. Now, lads, this is a question for all of you. With Matip injured, we'll start with Doyle, Darren, Theo, and Welford. But with Matip now injured, how is Nat Phillips going to cope with Harry Kane and Son Heung-min on Wednesday night? Doyle.
It's going to have to cope, innit? I think we may even play 5 at the back. Might be one of them where we need to do something. We can't just sit here and just let teams come at us and attack us and get these goals. We're going to have to put extra men at the back or something if we need to. So maybe play Henderson there again. I don't know, lad. This is where it's getting mad. We don't know what to do. Nat Phillips is just going to have to put in a job, and if he doesn't, you can't even blame him because he doesn't even play footy. You know what I mean?
An article come out about Nat Phillips that I saw yesterday that said before this season,
who's going to give up, lads?
He went to Virginia College or somewhere like that in America to play football there. Unbelievable. Darren, talk to me.
We'll be okay, lads. We'll be okay. Yeah, he's on there, lads. Yeah, you hear me?
Just a little bit of a lag.
We'll be okay, Alex.
Good.
Yeah. No, we'll be okay, lads. We'll be Spurs Wednesday night. I'm sure of that. And he can get me back on here after the game and I'll prove my point. No, absolutely, yes, lads. Look, Nat Phillips has been brilliant. In the few games he's played, he's been man of the match. He's been brilliant. So if it means Nat Phillips is to play, then so be it. We've Alisson behind him. We've Andy Robertson. We've Trent Alexander-Arnold. We'll have Fabinho, ever loyal. I mean, unfortunately, that's the second goal we've conceded without it being a penalty with Fabinho centre-back. So we'll be all right, lads. So, I mean, these are coming to the home of the champions. It's under the floodlights. There's 2,000 fans. We'll be okay, lads. I mean, let's look at the glass half full rather than half empty. You know what I mean? And I mean, the likes of Spurs, I mean, you can always rely on Spurs to let you down. Always rely on Spurs to let you down. So I'm not worried, lads. Definitely not.
Spurs,
absolutely.
Spurs haven't won in the Premier League, Theo.
I'm telling you now.
So yeah, Darren very confident of a Liverpool win on Wednesday, and of course I will be outside the stadium on Wednesday night. He's promising it. There you go, promising a bounce back. I will be outside Anfield on Wednesday night, speaking to the Scousers as they come out of that stand, the famous stand that this channel was named after. So do look forward to that on Wednesday evening. But Theo, today just makes Wednesday so much more important. And maybe it's a good thing, actually, that we are playing Spurs on Wednesday, because straight away we have control in maybe taking 3 points off them. And if it's a draw, at least we've still taken 2 off them. But we have to win on Wednesday night now, Theo, don't we, surely?
Yeah, I mean, we had a great chance today after them dropping points to go into that game top of the league. after Spurs drew with Palace as well, our confidence would have been higher. But it is good that we're playing them so soon, so that we are in control and we know what we have to do to get 3 points to go top of the league before Christmas.
Welford, the same question to you.
Yeah, I agree with what Darren said. I think it's a different scenario on Wednesday. No matter who we play at Anfield, I always back Liverpool to win like 90% of the time. We've shown it in the past with some mad games. I think for me, obviously, I witnessed what it was like last Sunday, and some of the people in that ground were not going home without a good performance. And I think it's just there's proper atmosphere in the ground. I think when everyone knows how big this game is on Wednesday, we all know how big it is, especially people going on the ground are going to know how big it is. It's a massive game. I think the fans will definitely show that. I think, for me, totally agree with Darren. I reckon we'll get the win. It might be a little bit shaky, but we just know how good Liverpool are when the fans are behind them. And the 12 fans do.
Lads.
Great shout. Gopal makes a point here saying that Doyle was spot on. Klopp is too adamant on his 4-3 formation and seems very reluctant to change his mind when we have only under 23s to play. He has to give it a thought. He should give it a thought. And Haroon said, wouldn't it have been amazing if by Thursday we had 30 points? David says, a must win against Spurs. I mean, like we've all said, everything fell for us this weekend, right? City drew, Chelsea lost, Spurs drew, and it was just made for us to win. How worried are we that we've only won one game away from home this season? I mean, a stat came up during the game, lads, where I think since Watford, we've only won 3 out of 12 away games. And I think off the top of my head,
That's terrifying.
Chelsea, was it Newcastle? Might have been one towards the end of the season, and Brighton. So, I mean, I hate to say it, lads, but that Watford game, we thought we'd seen the end of it, but our form has been shocking since then away from home. Obviously, home form will always be great. We're Liverpool, we play at Anfield, great. But it's the away form. And 17, 18, 18, 19, we were unbelievable away from home. That's where we picked up most of our points.
There's going to be a lot of teams.
With Doyle.
There's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be suffering like this away, lad. And the reason being is, 1, they haven't got their fans to keep them going away. And 2, they're playing against only home fans, lad. It's going to make a massive difference this season. Bro, Southampton are 3rd. The 3rd? That's madness. Why is Southampton 3rd? You know what I mean? This season is just doesn't count, bro. So when we say about Liverpool,
it does count, man. It does count.
It does. But also, it's just a madder season, so you can't put any type of.
But we said that about last season, though.
No, you can't, lads. You can't put old patterns on this season. You can't. This is not comparable to anything else, bro. Can't compare it to anything. This season away, yeah, we've been awful, but again, we're going to rely on our home games to get us through this. That's why Wednesday. That's why everyone's saying we're going to be fine because it's at Anfield, lad. If it's away, then you worry, but you don't. I feel like the only teams. This is what's worrying me. The only teams that like can play through that, I think, are City. City love to play through blocks of teams, and they love playing against opposition fans because that's all they do anyway because they haven't got no fans. So
yeah.
You know what I mean, lads?
A couple more thoughts that I'm just seeing on Twitter, though, lads. Here, apparently Klopp has confirmed that Matip has a spasm in his back, but he said, "I think there is a chance for Wednesday." He did confirm. Also, as well, cut our losses on Keita. Piss taker out. He's never fit. What's also mad is how much people defend him when he's done absolutely F all to deserve it. Some more quotes coming out, just coming in, then we can react to them. Klopp on the push on Salah before Fulham's guard. This was the next question I wanted to ask you. He says, I ask for your opinion. I need to know what you think. Both of our opinions are irrelevant. It's a clear foul, nothing else. If he doesn't push Mo, we get the ball. There's an advantage. Not about how hard the foul is, but Lee Mason, the VAR, not sure what he is doing at home, but it is not normal contact in football, but we cannot change it. It was a blatant push. Welford, we'll come to you first and then ask the other lads. There was a big VAR look at for that. It's a push in the back, is it not? That's a foul anywhere else, I'd say.
Yeah, you see it all the time for throw-ins, especially. As soon as a player goes like that, you can touch them, you can do anything. It's always going to be free kick because you're pushing them. You're gaining an advantage on them. No matter how mad Salah goes down, We see it all the time. Every time someone gets touched in the box, people throw themselves down because that's how you win penalties. You stay
Yeah.
up on your feet. Like that young lad for Leeds stayed up on his feet when Chilwell did
Yeah.
exactly what Robbo did to Welbeck. He stays on his
Yeah.
feet and he probably cost Leeds a couple of points then. And like no matter how dramatically a player goes down, it's still a foul. And as you said, no matter where, if that's someone else on the pitch, that's given as a foul. And if that like it just for me, and obviously Salah does go down a bit soft, but for me, he pushed him and he gained an advantage on winning that ball back. To win the ball back, put it through to that Reed, and he really good finish. But for me, it's definitely a free kick. I don't care if that was against us. I think I'd still be arguing that was a bit soft if we would have scored or something like that because there's clear 2 hands in the back.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Darren, what do you think about? Was that a foul or not?
I agree with Welford. Any other time in the game or in this, anywhere else in the pitch, it's a foul. But to be honest with you, lads, I didn't think really looking at the game, it is a contact physical sport. I don't think the one where the referee overruled VAR and said when he went with the decision to say it wasn't a penalty, I don't think that was a penalty where Fabinho goes in. I don't think we should have got a penalty. And I think it's very harsh, the foul on Salah. It's very soft. So look, lads, it's a tough physical sport. It's a contact sport. We sometimes forget about that. And nowadays, I don't understand the rules. I don't know them. I'll be honest with you, lads. I don't know them. They seem to change all the time. VAR one week will say one thing, the next week then no, that's ruled out. Another time then offside if you're a toe offside. Oh no, but he wasn't offside because it was just a toe. So I don't know, lads, and it's baffling. I'm going to go straight. I don't know whether you use the same mindset. Is that a bit more clear on it, but it's a completely grey area to me. It's very controversial, and I've said this loads of times. VAR was brought in to have less controversy, but it's added more controversy. And it took 5 minutes today, I think, to make that decision when Fabinho went in on the tackle. Was it not? It turned out it wasn't. This said, Patrice said it was. And to me, it's a contact sport. Absolutely no way is that a penalty, but that's just my opinion, lads. But it seems to be fairly split on decisions now when it comes to VAR and handling the ball or offside. It's madness at the moment.
Because they've stretched it, lad. They've stretched it too far. They've stretched the point where. So for me, it's not. I'm not really asked.
Can I just say before you go into it, Doyle? You look like you're wearing a Fulham shirt. I've got to say it. You look like you're wearing a Fulham shirt, bro.
I'm not
That's
like
a piss
Doyle.
take. You're taking the piss. Nah, you're taking the piss, bro. You're taking the piss. That's the insult. Nah, you're taking the piss. Carry on. Fulham FC, go on.
Lads. I forgot, lads.
Sorry, no. VAR getting stretched
Fulham.
there.
Well, lad.
No, he doesn't. The closest ground Doyle lives to is probably the closest ground I live to, which is the Emirates, I'd say.
Yeah, Emirates.
Yeah. But sorry,
I forgot
Doyle,
anyway,
I completely
Gilly,
ruined
so
you then.
forgot,
Sorry,
lads.
that's my fault.
Yeah,
sorry, team.
lads.
Hands up. Right, Gopal says that he was just watching, this is a question for Theo, he was just watching Klopp's post-match interview, which I just gave you some quotes from there. He's saying now it's getting awkward to see him moaning. I mean, when we see Klopp in post-match interviews, he comes with the one-liners. He's so happy normally, big smile, hugging the cameraman, hugging the interviewer. You know what I mean? It's great to see him normally. But this season, it is annoying to watch him complain and moan. But again, who is to blame here? I mean, how can you blame him really when there's just this many injuries, Theo?
How do we get scrutinised?
Doyle, you've had your chance.
Sorry, lads. Go ahead, Theo, mate.
You can't really. I don't think you can blame him for mourning when we've had so many VAR decisions go against us. So many injuries go against us. Like last season in particular, we saw him obviously very happy after most games. But then now it's just different because even if we are coming away with a win, there's still always normally someone injured or. Pretty much every game now there's someone else injured or someone else has got a knock, and it's just been one of them seasons where we don't know who's fit, who's not, and maybe something's gonna happen in January to get people in to replace them.
Right, I did say at the top of the show, and we will talk about it right now. I want to talk about 3 players that I think we should personally sell: Doyle, Darren, Theo, Welford, in that order. save your opinions if you feel like you're bubbling up and you want to say something, just because we are working with a little bit of a lag here. But yeah, I wanted to talk about Keita, I wanted to talk about Minamino, and I wanted to talk as well about Matip. I think personally we cash in on all of them and get rid, not in January because obviously that would just be a silly thing to do. But I want answers from all of you about these three players. For me, we can't rely on any of them to give us consistent performances. And for me, they have to go. Doyle first.
So, Matip to leave, Minamino to stay, Keita to leave. Keita needs to leave because he's had to kick the football for Liverpool, lad. Can't be asked anymore. Can't be asked waiting for him to do
Take
3 step overs.
the number 8 shirt as well. The number 8
Lad,
shirt, Doyle.
I literally can't be bothered. All he's done is about 4 step overs, bro, and scored about a goal. So he needs to chip. We get some money out of him. We'll probably lose money on him, to be quite honest, because how old is he now? Matip, like, we can't afford to sell him right now. So yeah, at the end of the season. But then it comes down to this. I feel like Liverpool are going to get rinsed. So what we actually need to do is line up who we're going to buy before the season ends, before we sell these players. Because all that's going to happen is they're going to notice that we're going to have gaps in our team and rinse us, lad. But I do know Klopp. I do know this. And he does his business always at the very start of the window. He does it all the time, lad. Every single time. He'll just get it done out of the way. And I think it's because he taps players up. So, yeah. Yeah, get them out, lad. Get a few notes.
Doyle says Matip and Minamino to stay, he says. But Darren, what's your opinion on these 3 names?
It's a good question, Alex. It's a hard answer to give now, and it's hard to give an honest answer now, to be honest with you, because we're only 3 months into the season. Matip is going to be 40, I think, is a February, March, so he's getting to the latter end of his career. He's getting a lot of injuries. I think at the end of the season, he can only go if we bring in someone in January. Now, you all know I'm looking for David Alaba from Bayern Munich, his experience, where he can play different positions as a centre-back. But, I mean, we've Van Dijk, we've Gomez out at the moment. Our only recognised other centre-back is Matip. Obviously, we're not going to get rid of him in January, but at the end of the season, yeah, I've no problem with him going to the end of the season. Naby Keita, it's a big controversial one. That he's only 25. We all know what he can do, but the thing is we haven't seen it. We haven't seen him play 9, 10, 11 games consistently running. If we were to, I'm sure our answers would all be probably different on Naby. At the moment, it's probably saying go, let him go at the end of the season. But I don't know, Alex. It depends how the season goes, what the end of the season's like for Naby Keita. At the moment, I'm on the fence with Naby about going. Minamino, the same again. I don't know. I mean, he was always going to be a squad player, Minamino. He was never going to be this player that was playing consistent week in, week out. He still has that chance, of course. And as the season goes on, we've 8 months of football, or we've 9 months of football condensed into 8 months. We've 3 games now every week, except from next week after we play Palace, and then it's not until the middle of February where we only have a week off. So there's huge games coming up. They're all coming thick and fast. So at the moment, I would say let Matip go at the end of the season, yes, if we can, and bring in someone better than possibly younger, and that's going to be more reliable because he is a good defender, Alex.
He is an unbelievable defender, bro. He's an unbelievable defender on his day, but I'm now at the stage where I think Klopp's got his team to such an incredible position that if we just reinvest and do the next step, we can be even. There hopefully just is no conversation. Hopefully in a year or 2 when Klopp's, I'd say, got to the end of the road with this team. But for me, all of these 3 players have to go. But Matip, I tweeted earlier. How have we relied on any of these players since the day they came through the door, Theo?
See, for me, I'd sell Minamino, keep Keita, and I'd only sell Matip if we could replace him in the summer. But yeah, what you said about how we relied on them, no, because Matip, we've always had Gomez to play there, and then we've had people like Lovren who have sometimes coming over him. Keita has just never really been fit to play. He's constantly injured, and then Minamino he was never going to be one of the ones going for the starting 11. He was always going to be a squad player, but he for me, the reason I'd sell him is because, I'd sooner play Shaqiri and then also we've got Harvey Elliott coming back at the end of the season, who's also
unbelievable season for him. But to be honest, I agree with this statement, and my point, what I was trying to make was, we do not have any more space in this squad for any injury-prone players anymore. I'm fed up of it. David makes, the Redmen here makes the great point that I agree with. We have too many injury-prone players. Who have I not come to? Is it just Welford on this one? Talk to me about Matip, Minamino, and Keita, Welford. I know you're a big Keita fan.
Yeah, but for me, it's just tough. I think we just look at it now because like they're getting little knocks here and there. But you got to think, when we've got everyone fit at the end of the season.
But when is that?
No, yeah,
we've never had everyone fit.
Yeah, but when you've got a majority of players, I know you're always gonna have people injured, which is everyone's always got players injured. But I mean, when you got majority back, Matip won't get a sniff over goal. Well, he might, but Van Dijk and Gomez are going to start every game. So Matip's just going to be one of them squad players that you need for the cup game. So that's why I won't get rid of him. Get rid of him, you've only really got like down to 2 centre-halves. For me, Naby, I think every time he's played this season, he's played very, very well. Arsenal at home, he was very good. Leicester the other week, he was very good. I think he had a massive impact on that game. I know he went off injured, but I feel when Naby plays, he does put in a really good shift. And I feel like he's a very good player to have because if he was fit, which is I know a massive problem with him, he's very injury prone. But I feel for me, he's worth having that risk. He might pick up a couple of injuries, but when he plays, he gives 100%. I think for me, Minamino was all right. I'm a bit on the fence with him because today he's really one of the best players. I reckon he was very good. Won the ball back a lot of times. Obviously, he's not like one of the key players. And for me, I don't know. I know a lot of Liverpool.
I thought. Do you know what? I'm going to cut in there because I think he showed so much for the ball and no one really wanted to pass it to him, which emphasises a lack of trust between the players and him. They don't really think that if you pass it to him, he's going to create a chance, right? And yes, it's great being available for the ball all the time, but if no one wants to pass to you, get off the pitch. We don't need you.
Well, that's not Minamino's fault. He can't do anything about that, can he? If he starts screaming around at him, he'll just get Jack Klopp will just take him off for being rude and that. But for me, I think Minamino was all right today. Won the ball back a couple of times. I think everyone expects, but when you play for Liverpool, you've got to be good. You've got to put a shift. And I feel, for me, if you look at everyone's backup in the league, they're not going to be world-class players. I said this the other day. Like you can't expect another B-Tech Mane to be right behind Mane as soon as one of them injured. Minamino could step up, score 15 goals a season. We can't expect that. And I feel like for me, every time Minamino plays, he does put a shift in. I know he's obviously not too impactful with goals or assists, but I feel like we just expect too much from backup, and I feel like it's so hard and so pressurising to expect another Mane, another Salah just to be right behind him to come in whenever and win us a game off the bench.
Yeah, a couple of comments coming in. GoPal says Keita 30 million plus, Shaq 15 plus, Matip anything. Sell Ox, Keita, Minamino, Matip, Shaq, and Origi. Matip cannot play 15 games a season. Our squad will have no impact if all these med patients leave. Redman says not this season. Obviously, I think we're all agreeing here that if we are going to sell any of those three names, it won't be in January. It will be in the summer, as David says here. Redman says Thiago will save our season when he comes back. We have too many injury-prone players.
Lads,
Go on, Dan.
Can I just make a point there, Alex, right? We have 6 players that are not injury-prone. Like the European Cup, we have 6, right? And they are Trent, Virgil. I know Virgil was in this year, only but he's never injured. Robbo and a front 3. They're the only 3. And you'd probably throw Genie into that are always fit, reliable, and ready to go. The rest are all injury prone, including Alisson, Henderson, Fabinho, Matip, Gomez. I can go through all of them. Shaqiri, Naby Keita. I mean, you go through the list. How many times have all these been injured? So it's good. It's a good point about Welford said, lads. But it's really disheartening to see that a lot of our players are very injury prone. It's usually disappointing. A lot of our new signings as well.
Yeah, all of our signings that we made in the summer are all injured right now. Simicast, Thiago, and Jota now as well for 2 months.
Jota's performed for me. I think like what we
unbelievable performance. So
he's been so, and we can't really have a go at him. He's not picked up any knocks, and he's played a lot of games considering we weren't expecting him to play. But I feel like for me, a lot of people are just saying get rid of loads of people. Are just like, honest to God, I just think there's no need for it.
I agree.
Everyone. What are you gonna do? So when we play Lincoln in a Carabao Cup in September,
no, we're not saying get rid of them. We're saying replace them. Replace them.
Nah,
Yeah, but they obviously we'd
But
replace all of these players.
Who are you going to bring in that's better than them and not going to have to pay 30, 40 million plus for them? Because anyone, if you sell all
Well,
them
this
and
is what we
try and
need to
bring
do. We
people
need to
in,
find
you're
out
going to
who's
lose
better.
money. And I
But we
feel
need
like
to
for me,
find out.
Shaqiri's all right. He puts a shift in, and he's not that.
But again,
bad at getting
injury
injured.
prone, man.
Is he?
Yeah,
well,
we
he's not
haven't
the
seen him
worst,
for a
I'd
month.
say Shaqiri's.
Like,
For me, Shaqiri's all right and he puts a shift in, like we've seen against West Ham, where it was when he put that ball through the Jota. I feel like for me, everyone just saying get rid of everyone. You'll be buggered when you're coming trying to buy more. You're just going to lose so much money, and I just feel like Klopp will never do that because we know how much Klopp loves every single player at Liverpool, and we see it when they get big massive hugs at the end of the game. Just feel like it'd be silly if get rid of them means replace. Yeah, but mate, David, who you gonna replace them for with not spending big amounts of money? Because you can, I could go name you 6 replacements for them now, but they cost about 150 million. So
yeah, but we'd probably generate 150 million by selling them.
well, how much you sell Naby for, and who's going to get Naby if he's that injured prone?
I'd say Naby we could sell for 35.
I just don't think people are going to buy him. You've seen how injured he gets. But I feel it's a tough one just to say every single second player just to get rid of them. I feel it's so harsh. I know there are obviously a lot of injured, but today's just this season's a bit of a freak, and everyone can understand that. Everyone's getting injured left, right, and centre. In a couple of months when people are back, you'll all be saying different. When Naby Keita's bagging in goals left, right, and centre, any money, everyone will be saying different. So.
All right, I'm going to do for the last 5 minutes of the show. We're going to do some player ratings and then a man of the match from you all. I'm going to name a player, and at the same time, you're all going to shout out your number. Okay, we'll start off with Alisson.
8.
8.
8.
8.
Yeah.
Well, that's 4-8, so we'll go with 8 on that one. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. A few saves in the first half, definitely kept us in the game. Makes all the difference. And realistically, if Adrian was in goal tonight, we could have lost that 3 or 4-1, to be honest with you, lads.
Yeah.
Right, Trent Alexander-Arnold, not a great game for him.
6.
6.
5.
2.
I'm going to go with 5. Theo, 2.
6.
I mean, wasn't happy when he came off. David up here mentioned earlier that he's not in form right now. I'm going to go with a 5. We'll go with 5 for Trent. I think that's fair tonight. Nico came on and did well. Let's go in the middle then. We started off the game with Fabinho and Matip at centre back. Matip first. What do we think?
7. What was all
5.
5.
Yeah, 5. Sorry, Welford, too generous. Fabinho.
7.
6.
7.
I'm actually going to go with 7. I thought Fabinho was one of our better players tonight.
I'll say 7.
Yeah, we'll go with 7.
Very good again.
Robbo, left back. Not his best game.
6.
4.
6. 4.
6.
I think we'll go with 5.5, to be honest, lads, or something in the middle. Let's go into midfield. Gini Wijnaldum.
Consider how good he's been. I'm going to give him a 5
6.5.
because he's been so good.
6.5 for Gini.
6.
5.
5 from Welford. Theo?
Just because of how good he's been, that's why.
What does Theo think for Wijnaldum?
Oh, I said a 5.
5. I'd say a 6. Curtis Jones?
7.
7.
8.
7.
I'm going to go 7.5
And I'll go
on this one.
7.
7.5. And then who? And then up top, Mane.
6.
5.
Not a great game at all for Mane, to be honest.
5. Yeah, 5.
5. Salah up top.
6.
6.
Scored again, but didn't do anything else.
6. Nothing more than a 6, I think. You're right, lads. Firmino.
7. I like them today. I
thought he
7,
came so deep though, Welford. He was so deep.
I feel like he wasn't
6.
he wasn't that bad today. He was all right. I know he came deep, but I feel like for me, he got on the ball and was looking. He gave the ball away once or twice in the first half, but for me, second half, he was all right. So I'd give him a 7.
I'm going to go 6, 6.5 for Firmino.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he made a couple of nice touches in and around the box, but I think he was a bit too slow today and got caught out when players would just pop out of nowhere and nick the ball off him. That really frustrated me, to be honest. The subs there, Nico Williams only came on for about half an hour. 6.
5. 6. Yeah.
6.
6, I think, is fair. Divock Origi.
5.
3.
No.
I'm going to say
4.
4 4 shite.
I didn't even touch the ball.
4.5.
Crap, lad.
Shite. 4.5
Right.
shite. And then
Four.
who else came on?
Minamino.
Minamino.
I give him 7.
Minamino.
6.
7.
6.5.
Yeah, I thought he'd
6.5.
done okay.
6.5 for me.
Yeah, 6.5.
But again, really, you know, I think the
If we
highest.
give Klopp one.
Yeah, let's give Klopp one as well.
I'm saying 4 because I just feel like
Yeah.
sometimes subs are stupid for me. I don't
Yeah.
care if Trent's not played football for 4 weeks. We all know how good his deliveries are, don't we? Like, we know he can put one ball in the box and it can
Yeah.
change your game. For me, I honestly don't care if he's. I know obviously I don't know what's happening behind the scenes and that, but I just leave Trent on for the full 90 minutes. Same with Salah.
Yeah,
We know
me
he
too.
can have an awful game, but he can pop up with goals as proven in the past couple of weeks. He always manages to score a penalty, tapping, whatever it is.
That's why you leave him
I
on.
feel like for me, you take off Mane, who had a shocker, who somehow managed to play the full game. I just feel like for me it's stupid because Trent and Salah are the two probably most creative in the final third over the past couple of weeks when they've played.
4.
And you can always pop up with something. So for me, Klopp's getting a 4 today. Choices were shocking and subs.
Agreed, Welford. I agree, mate.
Darren, Klopp.
Well, I said 6. I'll give him 6. I agree with Welford there. I just think, look, we're having 3 games a week, lads. He's not going to get a spot on all the time. He's obviously feeling the pressure now. 20 injuries, different players this season. VAR gone against him. Like, he's still fuming over that Everton game. Losing Dijk, loses Thiago, and loses 2 points. Like, we clearly done enough that day to win it, and same with Brighton. So, yeah, I can't blame him, lads. Look, I love him. He's a god, isn't he? So, he obviously didn't get a spot on today.
Listen, he is a god.
Yeah.
But even the gods, they're not the best all the
Yeah.
time. I'm giving him a 4. I was disappointed with Klopp tonight.
Go ahead.
Theo?
I think I'll go 4 tonight, but I could give him a 2 if we take into account the fact that he played Jota and in a game did not matter at all.
Yeah, 2. Not a great week for Klopp, to be honest.
No.
We've pretty much decided with our numbers then that the man of the match was probably Alisson. Do we agree with that? And when your goalie's man of the match, although it's great for the goalie, it's never a good sign. A quick prediction then for Wednesday. I want a score prediction from all of you, and then we will say good night on what has been a shitty evening, to be honest. Doyle, score prediction for Wednesday. 2-1.
Liverpool.
2-1 to Liverpool, the Red Men's. Aaron?
I'm going to go for 3-1. 3-1 home win. 66 home games unbeaten in the league. Top of the league by 2 points.
Trent, number 66. We love that. We could have been top of the league by 5 points if we'd won today. And if we win on Wednesday. Theo, score prediction.
2-1. I think I agree. Oh, yeah, 2-1.
Well,
3-1.
3-1.
What are you saying, Alex?
There's the 50% of me thinks.
Don't say like a draw or something.
No. 50% of me thinks 3-0 because
I'd take a clean sheet.
We said this before Wolves and Leicester that it would be a 2-1 or 1-0 and we just blew them away. It could be like that if we score early. It can be. One thing that is actually annoying me at the minute is how late we leave it to score away from home. We don't really score early away at the minute.
Yeah.
But there's all the predictions. Like I said, guys, we'll be outside Anfield. 4 regular fan cams. I don't know if when we started this channel, we got to about 500 subs and then lockdown happened. And obviously we've grown a lot more since. So it's funny. People might just think this show is just all a Zoom show, and it always has been. I literally was at every single game, home and away, in the pissing cold in Shrewsbury, Newcastle. Like, trust me, we've been out here speaking to fans outside all these grounds. So it's brilliant and, you know, it just feels a bit more normal for me to now be going back up to Liverpool on the train on Wednesday and speaking to the fans after. Also, big week of content. We have Top of the Kops on Tuesday, the game on Wednesday, and then Kop to Bottom with Doyle on Thursday as well. And then a big game at the weekend as well. Who is it at the weekend? Palace away, of course it is, yeah.
Palace away.
It is 12:30, yeah.
Early
big
kick-off.
Yeah, so we'll do a match preview, no doubt about that. But lads, thank you so much for your time. Just an hour there. I hope, Fulham can take their point and F off, as Brinzy here says. With the 12th man, we'll be okay. We tend to rise to the occasion, and a lot of positive score predictions coming in here. Lads, Doyle, please go and follow him in the description below. We've got Darren Whelan as well. Please follow him. He's always on the channel, as are the Kop kids. That's what we're going to call you now, lads. We got Kop bins coming out as well very soon with myself and Doyle. Got Jamel on fire, few Izzy on there as well. Some unreal techers. If you want to see a preview of that, head over to the Instagram now where you can see me smash the Kop bin target into pieces. But yes, lads, much love to you all, and hopefully we can go again on Wednesday and pick up the 3 points and go back to where we belong, the top of the table.
Cheers, lads.
Yeah.
Peace.
Good one, lads.